Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 373. Good afternoon, everybody. Like I said earlier, been a long day. Yeah, I had to go rescue my daughter this morning and left her wallet here so she couldn't get gas. But I got about 30 minutes worth of rest between now and then, and did a podcast. Now I'm back here, and I tell you what, the news keeps coming. So, like usually what happens, I'm not going to get through it all, but that's all right. We'll do what we can to get through here. All right, guys? Well, welcome to the JP8 report. As we get started here, please click that follow button to be a follower of the channel. And then right next to it, give us a thumbs up on the like for the show today. And the chat is open. So if you want to get involved with the chat, I'm in there. I got Covite for Life. He's in there, and try to get a few more people in there so we can have a little bit of fun this afternoon. If you ask a question in there, don't be afraid. Get in there, jump in there, tell us how you're feeling, what you'd like us to talk about, and we can do it. And we just need some data from you, and just pass it around, right? You can share the podcast if you want also. Let me click this refresh. Oh, there, never mind. Okay, so I'm going to do me a test real quick. I'm going to do the victory sign and then see how long of a. Yep, there we go. I got about an 8-second lag. Okay, cool. All right, so America 250. So America 250 had a pretty good one this morning. And then I have some general orders I'm going to go over. Just this, that's all. So the general orders for the 16th of April, 1776. If the British troops which evacuated Boston or any part of them are destined for this place, which is New York City, their arrival may be very soon expected. The engineers and overseers of the works are therefore to use every possible dispatch in completing them. To this end, the engineers are to apply to the adjutant general for as many men as can usefully be employed, and he will give orders accordingly. Colonel Prescott's regiment is to encamp on Governor's Island as soon as the weather clears. They are to give every assistance in their power to facilitate the works erecting thereon. The quartermaster general will furnish straws for the tents and firewood. As some inconvenience have arisen to the citizens of this place by having the countersign demanded of them, so early as 9 o'clock, the general orders of the tap tube beating be delayed for the future till 10. Flattering himself as there is no distinguishing citizens from soldiers, nor no possible method of keeping the latter in their quarters, and of consequence from rioting and disorderly behavior, that it will be found no less inconvenience to the inhabitants to say nothing of the security which is to be deprived from it, to give the countersign at that hour. Then submit to the greater inconveniences which may arise out of the neglect of it. After this hour, it is strictly enjoined upon the officers to see that their rolls are called and that the men are in quarters. General Thompson will hasten the embarkation of the regiments for Albany as fast as possible, and it is to fix the muster master general, Mr. Moylan, upon a time and place for mustering them. These regiments may be embarked to send off at a time, or otherwise it can be done quickest. The general to set out with the last, the colonels to prepare their muster rolls immediately. All persons having business with the Adjutant General are to repair at his own office and not to the headquarters to transact it. The general courts-martials, of which Colonel Stark, that was president, is dissolved. A general court-martial to sit tomorrow morning at Mr. Francis's tower at 10 o'clock. All evidence and persons concerned to attend the court. All right, so that's the general orders for the day. There was something about Mr. Francis's Tavern. I cannot remember. I think it was like one of the most historic buildings in New York City. I'm not sure. I cannot remember. Uh, Man, that would be good to look up. So that's your America 250 moment. Now onward to the Iran update. And then we got breaking news and all kinds of stuff. All right. Operation Epic Fury, day 9 of the ceasefire. The Department of War had a briefing this morning. He said that Secretary Exef said, we are locked and loaded in case the ceasefire does not take hold, no matter what. Iran can say they can fight, but they are not going to be able to close the Strait of Hormuz because they have no navy. We have a navy, and we have less than 10% of our naval forces in that region. So we're going to win regardless. All right. The Prime Minister of Pakistan and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia met earlier. The Israeli Lebanese truce talks continue, and that is breaking news that I'm going to read. I got it right here. That they agreed to a 10-day ceasefire and to continue their truce talks, right? Iran warns that U.S. ships are in range of their missiles. Like I was saying, they don't they don't have a navy. They can't do nothing. They're talking. They're all bark and no bite. Iran executed a female protester yesterday. China says they will not supply Iran with weapons. FIFA said the Iranian soccer team will compete inside the United States this summer. The Democrats lose another vote, war powers vote in the Senate, and then just a few minutes ago, they lost the vote in the House of Representatives. The Israeli Defense Forces, they found 130 Hezbollah weapons inside of a school in southern Lebanon. The Houthis have stayed out of the fight. And the CENTCOM commander, Admiral Cooper, this morning said 14 ships have been returned back to Iranian ports. All right. So, and then Brent crude oil is $98.26 a barrel. That's a little bit up from this morning. Nope. And then West Texas Intermediate is at $90.47 a barrel. That's about 85 cents above what it was this morning when we did the morning brief. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average is sitting at 48,419.64, and that's down $44.08. Okay, so that is your Iranian update for right now. Now, where do I want to go for this? Okay, I want to go this way. I know I want to talk about the deal about Miss Congresswoman Luna, but okay, the first thing out of the hopper, Israel and Lebanon agreed to a 10-day ceasefire, but they won't talk to each other still. But they agreed to stop fighting for 10 days. It says here, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun, I think that's Aoun, will not speak with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for now. It says dealing a setback for U.S. efforts to broker direct contact between the two countries as fighting continues in southern Lebanon. The development came after President Trump late Wednesday said the two leaders agreed to speak for the first time in decades. But what happened was that when that was announced, there were people inside the Lebanese government that said, absolutely not, do not talk right now. All right. Um, but it says, but Lebanese officials quickly pushed back, um, and that there's no call between the two prime ministers to do anything. Um, I just printed this off. Okay, let's go to the real news. Hold on just a second, right? Before I go any further, because I don't want to give y'all the wrong stuff. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Refresh. Breaking news, breaking news. Okay, so I'm going to this, and it says President Trump announced Thursday morning that Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a 10-day ceasefire. I just had excellent conversations with the highly respected leader, Joseph Aoun, um, of Lebanon, and Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu of Israel. The two leaders have agreed that in order to achieve peace between the countries, they will formally begin a 10-day ceasefire at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. Okay? On Tuesday, the two countries met for the first time in 34 years in Washington, D.C., with our great Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. I have directed Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Rubio, together with the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Kane, to work with Israel and Lebanon to achieve a lasting peace. Israel initially said the ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran did not apply to Lebanon, and Israeli forces had continued striking Iran-backed Hezbollah terrorists since then. But it looks like it's all going to come to a closure. And then the very next one was House rejects Democratic attempt to limit Trump's Iranian war powers. All right. So that's good news, right? So let me go back here so I can see who's on there. Hope everybody's having a great day. I mean, I'm serious. I've had a long day so far. All right. So next I want to talk about is don't forget to hit the follow button and the like button, please. Okay. Tyler Robinson's judge unseals the ATF report in assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, this report is dedicated to all the conspiracy theorists out there, because you're about to get your feelings hurt. All right. Prosecutors have alleged that separate testing. Okay. I just printed this off too, just about 5 minutes before I walked in here. The Utah judge overseeing the case against Charlie Kirk's accused assassin Tyler Robinson has unsealed a ballistic report from the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives that could not conclusively match a bullet fragment to the suspected murder weapon, but confirmed a match with the spent casing. Prosecutors have alleged that separate testing found DNA consistent with Robinson's on the gun, on the towel, and on 3 of the 4 rounds inside. The report conclusions have already been made public in prior court proceedings, but the document itself is now available for the court, and it includes some new details. All right. So the tested material includes deformed, damaged piece of the bullet jacket, as well as 4 lead fragments. It was attached in part as an exhibit alongside a defense motion filed under seal on January 9th, asking the judge to block the government from further testing until a defense expert had a chance to examine the photograph of the evidence. Judge Tony Graff ruled that there is no basis to keep the filing classified, finding that it did not contain any private or inflammatory information. An appendix to the ATF report explained that inconclusive findings mean that was an examiner's opinion that there was an insufficient quantity and or quantity of individual characteristics to identify or exclude. 2 law enforcement sources familiar with the investigation told Fox News last month that the reason the ATF was unable to match the bullet to the rifle is because when the bullet impacted Charlie Kirk's body, it hit bone and broke on impact, which is normal. Okay? A 30-06 bullet is different from a 5.56 bullet. Okay? It is not a big win. It is not a win for the defense, said retired FBI Supervisor Agent Jason Pack. It is simply a gap the prosecution is now working to address by bringing in the FBI with more advanced technology. Ballistics are rarely the only piece of evidence in a homicide case, he added, and the inconclusive finding only applied to the fragment, not the casing or the rifle near the scene. The defense here is going to doing exactly what good defense lawyers are supposed to do, protecting their client's ability to challenge evidence before it gets further altered. Pack told Fox News, "This is not a sign that the prosecution's case is weak," which is true. That's a true thing. All right. The ATF also examined a 30-06, and if you didn't know what a 30-06 is, .30-06 cartridge case that investigators wrote was identified as having been fired in the Exhibit 1 rifle. That's the suspected murder weapon, Robinson's Mauser. The agent identified damaged fragments at 30 caliber class, which is not inconsistent with Robinson's rifle, even though it wasn't enough for a conclusive match because the bullet fragmented upon impact, okay? We are a long way from trial, and the public should pump the brakes before drawing big conclusions from a single pretrial motion about a single bullet fragment. Robinson is accused of shooting Kirk on Turning Point USA event in Utah Valley University on September 10th. He allegedly climbed to a rooftop of a court across the courtyard from where Kirk was speaking and fired a single shot from his grandfather's Mauser's rifle. And a gruesome video showed the bullet struck him in the neck in front of a crowd of 3,000 people. Prosecutors have said campus police found marks left behind on the gravel moments after the shooting, consistent with a sniper having lain there. Impressions in the gravel potentially left by the elbows, knees, and feet of a person in a prone shooting position. Police recovered the rifle wrapped in a blanket in a patch of woods near the campus, and prosecutors have said that text messages left between Robinson and his romantic partner, Lance Twiggs, allegedly